Week 15 of the fantasy baseball season. Here's a few pitchers I look to sell and trade this week. The first pitcher, Foster Griffin of the Washington Nationals. So what a first season back in the major leagues it's been for Foster Griffin with the Nationals. One of the better pitchers in all fantasy baseball. And obviously he's getting great run support as well, with the Nationals being a great lineup in the National League this season. On the year, 98 and a third, 8-2 record, 98 Ks, a 2.93 ERA, 1.04 whip, and 9 quality starts. In the last month of the season, 36 and a third, 2-0 record, 38 Ks, a 1.73 ERA, 0.88 whip, and 4 quality starts. In the last 2 weeks, 0.89 whip in 20 and a third. So he's pitching great baseball as Foster Griffin. But like I said, he's coming from the KBO, and teams, they got to still adjust to him. I know it's half a season already in the major leagues here, but we've seen guys with great first halves, and then second half, teams make adjustments or they hit the wall and tire out. So like I said, the run support's always going to be there for Foster Griffin with a great offense, and the Nats backing him. But I just don't think he's going to keep it up at the pace he's been pitching. In the last 2 out of 3 outings, he's had pretty good matchups versus Kansas City and Baltimore that he's taken advantage of. June 16th versus the Royals, 6 innings, no decision, 6 hits, a run, 2 walks, 6 Ks, quality start. June 22nd versus the Phillies, 7 and a third, got the win, 4 hits, a run, 9 Ks, a quality start. And then June 27th at the O's, 7 innings, no decision, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 9 K, quality starts. His K rate is going up. He's pitching good baseball as Foster Griffin, but like I said, I don't know if he's going to hold up. That now we're halfway through the season, and this is where teams really make adjustments, and we'll see what happens in the second half. So like I said, don't dump these players just for anything. But right now, anytime you see a guy this late into the season with no track record, especially a guy like Foster Griffin who hasn't even been in the major leagues the last couple seasons, definitely someone to put on the trade block and see if someone would overpay. Because like I said, he's been one of the better pitchers in all fantasy baseball, and also as well, he does qualify a reliever, which adds even more value to him. Next pitcher is Sonny Gray of the Boston Red Sox. Sonny Gray got traded to the Red Sox this offseason, and pretty much he's been one of the only bright spots for this Boston Red Sox team, where they've been a basement team all season long, even though they're coming off sweeping the New York Yankees 4-game set. Sonny Gray's definitely a prime trade candidate at the deadline, and who knows, sometimes guys get traded, get acclimated to a new situation, and then they struggle. But either way, Sonny Gray, I think, is pitching over his head, especially in the AL East over there, even though he don't like the Yankees, and he showed them up in yesterday's game. On the year, 83 and 2/3, 9-1 record, 75 Ks, a 2.69 ERA, 1.11 whip, and 10 quality starts in the season. In the last month, 39 and 2/3, 4-0 record, 41 Ks, a 2.04 ERA, 1.01 whip, and 6 quality starts. So Sonny Gray definitely hitting his spots. Like I said, pretty much the only bright spot he's been for a team under 10 games under 500 this season for the Boston Red Sox is Sonny Gray. And the last few outings for him, June 18th versus the Jays, 7 innings, no decision, 6 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 4 Ks, a quality start. June 23rd at the Rockies, 7 innings, got the win, 6 hits, a run, 3 walks, 11 Ks, a quality start. And last night, like I said, versus the Yankees, 7 and a third, no decision on the 28th, a hit, a walk, 9 Ks, a quality start. So Sonny Gray's going out there, 6 quality starts in a row. And like I said, he definitely could be a trade candidate at the major league deadline, especially where pitchers, their price is at a premium, where a lot of contenders are looking for starting pitching and have to give up the prospect pool. So Gray definitely a pitcher that could be traded at deadline. And if he does stay with the Boston Red Sox, I don't know if he's going to keep it up at this pace, is Sonny Gray. I know he's been a veteran pitcher around the many seasons, obviously, but right now, this is arguably one of the better seasons of his career, especially recently for Sonny Gray, where he's changed things up a little bit. Where last season he was a high strikeout guy with St. Louis, and this year he's getting weaker contact and finding ways to get easier routes. But in my opinion, I just don't think he's going to keep it up at this pace. Put him on the trade block and see what you could get for Gray this week. Next pitcher, Brandon Woodruff of the Milwaukee Brewers. So Brandon Woodruff, he's a good pitcher, obviously, but that's when he pitches, and injuries have definitely been a concern for him over the last 2 or 3 seasons. And so far this year, we've barely seen him. 41 and 2/3, 2-1 record, 41 Ks, 2.59 ERA, 0.84 whip, and 3 quality starts in the last couple weeks since he returned to the rotation. 11 and 2/3, 0-0 record, 16 Ks, no ERA, 0.34 whip, and a quality start in that time. So like I said, Woodruff's a talented pitcher. obviously, but he's a guy that's always been injury prone, and now they're even going with a six-man rotation for the time being. Is this Milwaukee Brewer team to preserve some of these starters, and especially a guy like Woodruff? So with those factors, with the injuries and the six-man rotation, and he just missed about 2 months of the season, is Woodruff definitely someone, after coming off of 2 good starts, I would put on the trade block. I know he's a free agent after the year. You know, he's going to want to pitch more innings, pitch well, get a nice contract in the offseason, even though there's a good possibility there's going to be a strike, and we'll see what happens. The agents April 30th versus Arizona, 1 1/3, 4 hits, a run, a walk, 2 Ks. Then his return June 22nd at the Reds, 6 innings, no decision, a hit, no runs, 10 Ks, a quality start. And then yesterday versus the Cubs, June 28th, 5 2/3, no decision, a hit, no runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. So like I said, Woodruff, a very talented pitcher, but we've barely seen him now over the last 2.5 years. So like I said, he's just got that label, unfortunately, injury-prone player. Right now is Brandon Woodruff, but definitely someone that help fantasy owners, but also as well, just going off track record the last few seasons after coming off of 2 good outings, definitely someone I would put on the block and see sell him this week. The next pitcher, Kyle Bradish of the Baltimore Orioles. Bradish, he's definitely turned the season around over the last month and a half on the year. 93 innings, 5-8 record, 96 Ks at 3.77 ERA, 1.45 WHIP, and 7 quality starts on the season here for Bradish. In the last month, 34 2/3, 3-2 record, 35 Ks at 3.63 ERA, 1.41 WHIP, and 3 quality starts. In the last couple weeks, in 19 2/3, 2-1 record, 23 K, 0.83 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. So Bradish last season barely pitched, only 32 innings, 1-1 with a 2.53. And this season, it's been tough for this Oriole team and Kyle Bradish, where they're 39-46. But Bradish, he's definitely turned things around of late. But he's someone as well that I don't think is going to keep it up. He's in a division with the Rays and the Yankees, 2 good teams. The defending champ, the Blue Jays, even though they're 6 games under 500, is Toronto, and they've lost 6 in a row right now. But I think Kyle Bradish, he's someone that's not going to keep it up. And we saw 2 great outings out of him at Seattle, at LA, and then yesterday came back down to earth versus a good offense versus the Nats. So definitely someone I would sell this week. June 17th at the Mariners, 7 2/3, got the win. 5 hits, a run, 2 walks, 12 Ks, a quality start. June 22nd at the Angels, 8 innings, got the win. 6 hits, no runs, a walk, 9 Ks, a quality start. And then yesterday, like I said, he versed a better opponent and couldn't get anything done. 4 innings, got the loss. A hit, 3 runs, 5 walks, 2 Ks. So Bradish, he's got 2 quality starts in his last 4 outings. He's definitely pitching better baseball, is Kyle Bradish. But like I said, he's on a 4th place team in Baltimore, in an AL East with arguably the 2 best teams in the American League, in the Tampa Bay Rays and the New York Yankees. And I don't think Bradish is going to keep it up like he has. And like I said, Baltimore, even with some big boppers in the lineup, Gunnar Henderson, Pete Alonso, Taylor Ward, Jackson Holiday, these guys, they're just not performing that great. Obviously, where there's 7 games under 500. I know the pitching hasn't been good, but Kyle Bradish, definitely someone back into the rotation pitcher. So right now, well, he's pitching well for fantasy owners for the most part. Definitely a sell-high pitcher this week. And the final pitcher, Emerson Hancock of the Seattle Mariners. Hancock got off to a great start, the former top prospect for this Mariner team to start the season, but now he's starting to come back down to earth on the year. 90 2/3, 5-4 record, 87 Ks at 3.47 ERA, 1.05 WHIP, and 8 quality starts in the last month of the year. Like I said, those numbers are starting to turn the other way. 26 innings, 1-2 record, 24 Ks, 5.19 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, and a quality start for Hancock. So right now we know they're going on and off with piggyback, a 6-man rotation. They just don't know for sure what they want to do. He's a Seattle Mariners team, but like I said, if Hancock continues to struggle, a guy like Luis Castillo easily could get back in the rotation consistently, or Bryce Miller, the guy that they're really toying with, is the Seattle Mariners team. And also Cade Anderson, one of the best pitchers in all minor league baseball, is pitching great, could also come up and obviously take a rotation spot. So right now, like I said, Hancock, he got off to a great start to begin the season, but he's starting to hit the wall a little bit. With last year, we only saw him in the majors for 90 innings, and he just passed that in his last outing, is Hancock. So like I said, something to keep an eye on, and I will put him on the block and try to sell him this week. June 14th, and that's 4 innings, got the loss. 9 hits, 6 runs, 2 Ks in that one. June 20th versus the Red Sox, 5 1/3, got the loss. 4 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. And June 28th at the Guardians in yesterday's game, 5 2/3, no decision, 5 hits, a run, 3 walks, 6 Ks. So like I said, Hancock, he's definitely not going deeper into games. His ERA's inflated up over the last few weeks here. And like I said, with these 6 men in this rotation and Cade Anderson dominating in the minor leagues, definitely something to keep an eye on, where there could be an odd man out or someone even traded in the next month of the season at the deadline. So with those factors, and like I said, Hancock in the majors really hasn't had a track record, and now he surpassed his major league innings in his last start to last season. Definitely a sell high pitcher this week. So that's a few pitchers I look to sell and trade for week 15 of the fantasy baseball season.